Hello everyone and welcome back to the X-Ring. I hope you're doing well today. First off, big shout out to everyone that watches the channel. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. It would help me out. But I did want to say thank you to each and every one of my viewers, especially those that are watching the 7MOA 1 Mile Challenge. That's turned out to be a pretty good series. But for today, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the new Beretta rifle, which I did have a chance to shoot at SHOT Show, but it is the Beretta BRX1. And this one's chambered in 300 Winchester Magnum. Let's go ahead and do a full review. Okay, so when I was at SHOT Show this year, I had heard talks about this. I knew there was some information out there from the Firearms Blog and some of the other channels of shooting these in Italy. But the BRX1 is a straight pull action, which is quite common in Europe. You don't see them a lot in the United States, but I do think there is a place for it here in the United States. It is a very, very smooth action. It's only 2 actions. It's forwards and rearwards, and you're not having to do 4 actions like you would on a conventional bolt action rifle. There are a lot of really key features with the BRX1 that I think really make it a good option. And some of those are the quick barrel changes that you can do between the different calibers. And you might say, well, you know, you can do a pre-fit barrel on your favorite bolt action you have right now. But you got to remember, in Europe, people don't have the ability to have a lot of guns like we do here in the United States. And one of the beauties of this is even though I have this chambered in 300 Winchester Magnum, just a quick barrel change, which only takes a couple of minutes, changing out the bolt face, which just takes a couple seconds. Now we can go from a Magnum-based long action caliber to a 6.5 Creedmoor or 308, like a short action style. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a full overview. Let's get into the rifle and let's talk about the specs. All right, so taking a look at the Beretta BRX1, remember guys, they were known for their shotguns and their barrel systems. Now this does have a lightweight recoil pad. You have an adjustable length of pull. It does have a polymer style stock. It actually has a really good texture to it, so it's not too smooth. It actually has a little bit of grip to it, which is what I like. There were no sharp edges on the seams where it's been molded here, and that's one of my biggest complaints. I'm usually taking a knife or something and getting that edge off. I don't like sharp edges. You do have a replaceable grip panel here. These aren't available quite yet, and guys, this is a full US spec model, but it does come with a single stage adjustable trigger with 3 different weight variations. It does have a modular trigger system as well. This is removable, more on that later on. It is adjustable from like 2 pounds 1 ounce up to a middle setting, which is like 2.6, and then you have the heaviest setting, which is like 3 pounds 1 ounce or something like that. So I'll show you how to do that. You also have this straight pull linear mechanism here. So it's just straight rearwards, straight forwards. You have access to both sides because you have this floating perch here for the scope. More on that in just a minute. And you have a double stack magazine. Yes, it is orange. I actually like that. It makes it easier so that you're not going to lose it. It is a double stack magazine, and so that gives you the ability to either top load it from either left side or right side, which is pretty neat. And then you also, on this bolt, we're going to take a really good close look at that here in just a minute, but it is interchangeable. So if I wanted to change from, let's say, this 300 Win Mag to a 6.5 Creedmoor, and my apologies on that, just haven't gotten the barrel back in time, but all you have to do is remove these 2 screws, and upon removing those 2 screws, you can take the barrel out, change the lug out without any tools, just basically a bullet will do it, and it's ready to go. It does come with 2 sling swivel studs as well as sling swivels in the pack itself. And then you have this, in this case, this is going to be a 300 Win Mag, so that's that 1 10-inch twist barrel. And guys, this barrel is different. It's cold hammer forged, but not only is the barrel cold hammer forged, but the chamber is also cold hammer forged as well. So I think that's taking some of that Sacco technology where it's all done together, and that's how you guys are going to get the best concentricity because you're not cutting that chamber. It's all cold hammer forged at one time. Now, this does have a thread protector on it. It does come with a threaded barrel, and for the US spec models, for those that might be concerned about that, Beretta did do a US spec model, and this does have the 5/8 24 TPI threading. Now, moving on down, because it is a 300 Win Mag, and we know that those can be a little bit brutal to shoot. It's not too bad if you're shooting a couple shots, but if you're shooting all day, I wanted something like a can or a brake on here, and so I do have the Thunder Beast arms. This is the Dominus SR, so I do have the brake system if I want to shoot it like this, but I think most of your hunting guns should have a suppressor of some sort. Just helps with that hearing loss, that you're not going to be having that if you do have to shoot this at an animal. I'm just running a Coltac suppressor cover, just a basic suppressor cover, and I think it's a great setup. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this straight action system. But before I take it apart, so the weight of this rifle without the optic is going to come out, and without the suppressor is actually going to come in at 7.3 pounds. So not crazy heavy. It's a good weight for a hunting rifle, and as long as you're pairing it up with a scope that's not too terribly heavy, I think you've got a great setup. Now, this rifle is completely ambidextrous. So not only do you have the multi-caliber change, the short linear pull, but also it is ambidextrous because you can switch it for a left-handed or right-handed shooter without any additional tools or anything. You have a 3-position safety. It's pretty simple. Red means fire, and by pushing down on this and coming down to the white position here, if you can see the white, that allows you to actuate the bolt, but the safety is still engaged. The 3rd position is no white showing, and this basically locks the bolt, blocks the hammer, nothing's moving, nothing's happening. So that is going to be the safety there, and you'll notice that it's in the middle for the ambidextrous shooter, and you're just going to press straight up to disengage that safety. Now, to remove the bolt, it's actually very simple. All you're going to do is lift up on this tab right here, and by lifting up on this, your bolt mechanism actually slides out in one piece. So this is a 16 lug version because it's a Magnum. If it's a non-Magnum cartridge, you're actually going to have an 8 lug system, very similar to what you would see on, let's say, an AR. All right, so now that we have the bolt, you actually have what looks like a cam track right here on the top. And by pressing this straight down, you can use a tool, but it's beveled. You should be able to remove the bolt itself out in the subassembly. What's really cool about this is this actually has a sliding dovetail that you can remove and change the bolt face out. It is that quick, guys. But also, if you wanted this rifle to eject left side, but you're a right-handed shooter, or vice versa, all you have to do is flip this over. It is that simple. So very ingenious engineering on that end of it, having that quick bolt face removal. And if you look underneath the carrier system here, you've actually got a little yellow button, and that is meant for you to depress. I'm just going to use a bullet tip, and if you press that down, now we can remove the actual bolt handle, and we can actually switch it over to the other side. You do have some witness marks here. This is in orange. It's telling you the orientation of it. Push down on that, and then now that is ready to go for a left-handed bolt. So if you're a left-handed operator, you can use it on the left-hand side. Or if you're right-handed, sometimes that's actually a little bit quicker. So very, very ingenious design. I'm going to switch it back over to the right-hand side, but very simple to do and very easy to work on. To reinstall it back into the action itself, all you have to do is get your rails lined up, press it in. Now let's go ahead and take a closer look at this trigger mechanism. So on the trigger mechanism, you actually have this little bar here, and what you can do is use a bullet tip or some type of pry bar. I don't lose anything in the water here. And by prying that up, that allows us to take this trigger, slide it forwards and out. Now, before we disassemble the barrel, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and shoot it on paper, confirm 100 yard zero. I've got to get it zeroed in. But what we'll do is we'll take the barrel out, and then we'll reinstall it and see if it has a return back to zero at least 1 minute. That's what they're claiming. Now, this cantilever system is available not only in a 0 MOA taper, but also in a 20 MOA for those longer range shots. I think it's going to be fine for what we've got. We got enough internal adjustment on this Zeiss, the S3, the 425, and I'll get you a weight on the entire package. So let's get it on the range. All right, so another really big thing that I want to touch on with regards to the BRX1 is the portability of it, okay? And what I mean by that is the rifle does ship with a 7/32 hex, and you're able to take this barrel off very quickly. So by being able to do that, it's a very compact package. For those of you that do a lot of hunting or traveling with rifles, one of the things you know is most airlines, you have a linear inches restriction, and being able to get it into a smaller case will keep you from having to pay that $125 or $150 charge that they're going to upcharge you for that oversized case. So what we're going to do is we're going to test that theory. Beretta says that you can take the barrel off and reattach it with about a minute shift or less. So we're going to test that. This is a clean, cold barrel. I'm going to hopefully get a decent group down there at 100 yards. I do have the Allen system going. We're going to be shooting at the white target, red center. And like I said, I'm just going to shoot for group. So what I'll do is I'll shoot 3 shots just to see how this groups using the Sacco, the TRG ammo. And let's go ahead and load it up. All right, so what we're going to do here is we are going to go for the bottom target. Like I said, as long as it's close, we're just going to try to shoot for group here. Here we go. Bottom red bullseye, 100 yards. Okay, so a little bit high, that's okay. Like I said, cold bore. All right, so we should be empty now, and yeah, we're just a little over a minute. Not that big of a deal. Like I said, clean cold bore in there as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the barrel off. So we are clear here. I'm going to go ahead and drop the mag. You guys can see that that's clear. And what I'll do, hopefully stay in focus here, and I know this is going to be hot as all get out. Let's go ahead and take the suppressor off. So we're doing a couple different things here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this 7/32. We're clear, action's open. And I'm going to take the barrel off. So you can't lose the screws. They are captive within here, but it is 2 screws. And that's it. So now we have the barrel itself. And if you had a small case like this, let's say it's a hard case. We're not going to pretend it was a soft case. And we would probably have to take the bipod off as well. But even so, you can get all of this, including the suppressor, to fit in a little tiny bag, just like this. We'll just go ahead and put the suppressor here, bipod here, and now you've got your full hunting setup, and it's super lightweight. You got to remember, this whole package here only weighs right at 12 pounds. So what we're going to do now, so let's just go ahead and unpack it. We'll reattach it and see if we are close. I'm doing this in one continuous shot so that no breaks in the video or anything. And I would assume this would work like most of your other rifles in that you have a little recoil lug here that you probably do want to bounce that on it a couple times just to make sure we're seated. Let me go ahead and get one of these started. And I'm one of those guys that like the torque values and just want to know it. The torque value on this is actually going to be 10 Newton meters, which is going to be roughly 88 inch-pounds or so. I don't have an inch-pounds wrench with me that will go to that, so they don't give you one either. They just give you this T-handle. So I guess about when it starts to flex a little bit would probably be about 88, or at least close enough. Let me go ahead and follow this up. Okay, let me go ahead and put the bipod onto here. All right, let's see what we've got. You guys know where that other group is. It's still up there on the screen. Let me go ahead and get the suppressor on. This is the Thunder Beast Dominus SR, favorite can of mine. Of course, all the Thunder Beasts are great cans. All right, 3 shots. All right, here we go. Bottom white target. It's right there in the group, guys. You see that? So that's the first shot. Yeah, that's in there. All right. Guys, that's actually a pretty tight little group now that she's got a little bit of heat in it. Remember, it was completely cleaned. But I'll take that group any day of the week. You guys can see it. I'll get you a measurement on that. But that's after taking the barrel off. All right, so just having that available to you, being able to go from a large caliber like a 300 Win Mag like this or a 30-06, and then being able to just immediately switch it over to a 308 or a 6.5 Creedmoor just makes it that much nicer. And one of the other things, guys, you got to remember, this is also coming from one of the oldest rifle companies, shotgun companies, gun manufacturing companies in the world. And their testing procedures, you know, you've got your CIP proof houses all over Europe, which is actually a higher standard than what we have in the US. All right, and as if the CIP standard wasn't enough at the proof house, Beretta took it a step further with the BRX1 and actually conformed to NATO standards. So everything from barrel obstruction tests, which most of your rifles have to be able to endure 2 high pressure rounds, which that's what that creates. They actually did one of these rifles with 200 overpressure rounds with no injuries or anything like that. To if you had a user, they, you know, subjected it to, you know, the water spray test, the high temp, low temperature. And I know that they've done their research. I mean, it's not a startup company. Beretta is one of the most respected names in the industry, and they really did go above and beyond when they developed this rifle. This rifle took, I think, about 7 years to actually develop. But I think one of the key points is being able to go from that Magnum caliber down to a non-Magnum caliber, and just the versatility, just being able to switch the bolt around, all of that does make it a great all-around rifle. What I'd like to do next is I want to do some, you know, you might want to call it snap shooting. You know, sitting here on the bench and holding the rear bag, this doesn't really lend itself to being fast. But if I do a shot timer and we compare, let's say, a bolt action rifle compared to a straight pull, is there any difference? And so what we'll do is we'll test it at 100 yards. There's a third IPSC down there. It's roughly 10 inches wide and about 12 inches tall or so if you don't include the head portion. We've got the same exact scopes on the 2 rifles. One is going to be a Tikka T3, the Varmint. And guys, I'm going to start doing more hunting rifle reviews because, you know, these are precision rifles, as you guys just saw right there. You get the right ammo and everything else. I mean, this thing's guaranteed to print pretty much a 3/4 minute group. We'll probably try to shoot it at some distance. Maybe not. Like I said, it's a different day because I got completely rained out the other day. So let's pick it up from there. Okay, so the only way to really do this fairly is to do it just like you're carrying it when you're hunting. I've got 3 rounds in this Tikka. This is a beautiful rifle. I'll do a full review on this later on, but it is the T3X, the Varmint. And so it does have the heavier barrel here. It isn't 6.5 Creedmoor, so realize that I am going to be shooting a non-Magnum as opposed to the 300 Win Mag when we do this. I do have the KST 1000 shot timer. We'll do a 3-second delay. I'll have the safety on in the low ready position, and to the right of the target, you'll actually see a third IPSC. Now, I still have to make the shot. I'm not gonna this is not gonna be no scoping, all right? I actually wanna be able to get it on target, make sure that a good shot on this target. At 100 yards, we'll see how long it takes to do 3 rounds. Now, Also keep in mind, guys, this is not a 90-degree throw. This is a very short throw, about 60 degrees or so. So you've got that added benefit to it. And I'll try to rack the bolt while I'm on the rifle instead of bringing the rifle down and racking it. And we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I haven't got a single round through this. It should have a 100-yard zero. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna chamber around, safety on, low ready. Make sure we're good. Get that field of view a little bit bigger. This is actually gonna be a little tough offhand, but here we go. All right, so 3 shots in 7.16 seconds. So 3 shots, 7.16. Guys, that's actually pretty quick for a bolt action offhand. So let me try it with this Magnum. We'll see how it does. But that's what we're looking at, about 7 seconds on the fastest time. That's about as fast as I can shoot that accurately. All right, so I've got this one loaded up, ready to go. Let me go ahead and take this bipod off because, well, you know, you might be hunting with a bipod. It doesn't matter. Either way, fair is fair, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and chamber around. I'm going to put the safety on full safe, just like we did on the other one. And I'm going to have to deal with this recoil from this Magnum, so we'll see what happens. Let me check this. All right, 7.16. I don't know, that's going to be tough with this, but we'll try it. Here we go. All right, 6.18. I don't know if you guys can see that, 6.18, or 6.81, sorry, it was upside down. 6.81. So even shooting a 300 Winnie, I was still able to get the rounds on target. You guys saw it in the optic there. And I shot it pretty much as fast as I can shoot it and make sure that I got that shot. So this has a lot of advantages, guys, it really does. Now, in full disclosure, this rifle was provided to me by Beretta. Big shout out to the folks at Beretta. I was looking for some hunting rifles in case I do a challenge or something like that. I've got something that's indicative of a true hunting rifle, whether you're shooting elk or even if it was something like, you know, deer or something like that, I could go with a smaller caliber. I used to hunt a lot, guys, way back in the day. All kinds of hunting. I still do some coyote stuff and everything else, but I've never really put it on the channel because I don't know how the subscribers would feel about it. It's not a hunting channel, but if you want more hunting content, I can add some of that. Enjoy shooting some coyotes. That's a lot of fun because they are predators around where we're at and they cause problems for the farmers. All right, so guys, let's face it. There's nothing I'm going to be able to do to this rifle that's worse than what Beretta subjected these rifles to. However, this is a new rifle and, you know, like I said, worst case scenario, I'll end up having to buy it. But what I am going to do is I'm going to take the suppressor off. You can create a very dangerous condition if you fill up a suppressor full of water and don't get it drained out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the Thunder Beast off. I'm going to load a live round into the chamber. I'm going to put the safety on completely. This is the Zeiss, the S3, the LRP, and 4.25. So, hate to do it, but if it's a hunting rifle should be able to handle this. And I'll get the camera here so you guys can kind of see it. It is a completely submerged rifle. And let's go ahead and just put it on the other side like this. And it should be able to handle the water no problem. Now remember, you want to get water out of the barrel. That's always a big thing. But you know what? Let's take it a step further. And I am going to get muddy. That's why I'm wearing this jacket. Because you can never seem to keep your hands clean, right? Whenever you're hunting. So we've got some nasty mucky mud here. And we're just going to put it on my hands so you guys can see. It's a hunting gun, right? We want to make sure you get water out of the barrel if you're going to do this. We did have magazine with rounds in here. And this is very gritty like this. Let me at least get it off here so I don't have a dirty face when I leave. And what we'll do is I have the other one going down range. Let's see here. You know what? I'm not going to put the suppressor back on because I do have a round in the chamber. I'm just going to shoot it the way it is. I will have a point of impact shift, so let's go ahead and do this
See if it'll put me on my butt. 100 yards. Impact. Now let's see if we can do, we call this the kimchi squat. All right, let's go ahead and go 250 yards. Oh, that's 250 yards in the kimchi squat. Come on, give me some credit. Let's see if we can go 300 yards. Now let's just go ahead and take it out to 500 in the kimchi squat. Probably a miss, but here we go. That's a miss. Shouldn't be taking offhand shots at 500 either way, unless you're eating some kimchi or something. But guys, the rifle is very impressive. I'm not just saying that. It is a great setup. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that review, that full comprehensive review of the Beretta, the BRX1. I think it is a phenomenal rifle for what's out there, and it's in that $1,600 price point. So while it's not the least expensive thing, you are getting a Beretta. Additionally, I want to add that a lot of people email me about long-range training or long-range classes. And yes, I do hold those a couple times throughout the year. This year, I am teaching out at Pig River Precision under the XP Long Range Academy. X for X-Ring, and then P is for the Paramount Tactical Solutions. Gary over there at Paramount Tactical. If you've never checked his channel out, go check it out. You know, former Green Beret, he's retired now, but definitely check him out if you're interested in the class schedules. Just go to ParamountTacticalSolutions.com or ParamountTactical.com. Has a full course register there of what we've got. It's also a great place to get precision rifle gear, everything from your LRAs to your MPA rifles to your Thunder Beasts. So definitely check them out. Put X-Ring in the coupon code and it'll actually give you a savings on your next order. Guys, I hope you have a great week. So I'll be at the NRA convention next week in Dallas. So if you're down that way or checking out the show, definitely come by and say hey. I'll probably be walking around trying to get some good content or over at the Surefire booth doing some stuff with them. So definitely come by and say hello, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week. We'll see you.